Hi, peeps. So our chat yesterday got me thinking, and I realised that there's something very important I needed to mention. Um, the shame I was talking about yesterday is very different to shame that comes from outside. So the shame I was talking about yesterday was a personal conversation between myself about something that happened for me. I was feeling shame over evidence of my previous transphobic approaches to the world, and I felt that shame and dealt with it. And that's healthy shame, that shame that helps you change and do things. There's the unhealthy shame, that one that comes from outside. I think I like to understand that more as humiliation. When I worked at Salon Kitties, those, those women are masters at humiliation. We did some of the most ridiculous things to people just to satisfy their urge to be humiliated. And what it taught me is that humiliation is a very clear process where you take a shame and you force it onto a person. You make it theirs to carry. So that's that kind of shame that gets internalized and toxic and comes out for generations of garbage. So for me, we need to, as people who live with complicated emotional worlds, we need to be really careful when we're talking about shame, when we're looking at our shame, whether it's our own shame or whether it's shame that came from somewhere outside there. Now, my mother had a lot of shame about sex, and it resulted in some things, some of which I legally wasn't allowed to publish. Unbelievable. She inserted that shame onto me through humiliation. A big reason why I got so good at being Mistress Sonia is because I grew up being humiliated constantly, and very often in a very, very shameful public way. My mother got her kicks on that. So that shame came down to her. It was somebody else's shame. It's shame that belonged to someone generations back that they weren't able to look at and explore and feel, so they passed it on to their kids, and they passed it on, and they passed it on. It meant that I was so broken in relations to sex when I left home that I had to spend 10 years just trying to work out what had gone wrong in that way in my world. Thank you, Sonia, and all of you ladies at Kitties. You know I love you. That's where I learned how to deal with my shame about sex. That comes from outside. We don't need to carry that. And people who are a little bit bent have spent the last couple of years in Australia being soaked in humiliation. Oh my God, the whole country voted on whether or not we're allowed to get married. That's not our shame, guys. If you're ashamed of being trans or being gay or being bent or being kinky, that is not your shame. That is humiliation that's been pushed onto you from outside, and it's not yours to carry. Shame, healthy shame, is you responding to something that you know is wrong. If there's something that you know is right and you feel shame, that's someone else's shame. You don't need to process that. All you need to do is go, I feel ashamed. That's not my shame. Let it go. That's someone else trying to humiliate me. It's much easier to let that shame go than the one where you know you need to change something. But also not easy at all, because it lurks there constantly waiting to pop up every single time. That's okay. We just get through it every single time. I love you guys. Party hard. Bye.